Hello, everyone. Welcome to ToyBoxLive with Rinde Eckert and Ellen McLaughlin. Please join us after the concert for a short Q&A with Rinde and Ellen. And now I give you Rinde and Ellen.
That was a little version of Clean Out of Churches, which, anyway, we're here in Ogunquit, Maine. So this is a first for us in the Toy Box. And we have Megan Loring, our first live audience on the porch, socially distanced and wearing masks like we all should be. We're far away, so we're not worried about it right now, and I can't sing through the mask. Anyway, it's a beautiful night here in Maine, and you're welcome. I'm so glad to have you with us tonight. I want to start with a little reading from Ellen came across this. She was rereading Occidental Mythology by Joseph Campbell, and came across this. So I want to read this, and then I'll launch into a thing we call Church Fathers.
This is by the Alexandrian mythographer Maximus of Tyre, who's a 2nd century A.D. Writer and philosopher. God, fashioner of all that is, older than the sun or the sky, greater than time and eternity and all the flow of being, is unnameable, unutterable by any voice, not to be seen by any eye. But we, being unable to apprehend God's essence, use the help of sounds and names and pictures of beaten gold and ivory and silver, of plants and rivers, mountain peaks and torrents, yearning for the knowledge of God, and on our weakness naming all that is beautiful in this world after God's nature, just as happens to earthly lovers. To them, the most beautiful sight will be the actual lineaments, to them the most beautiful sight will be the actual lineaments, but for remembrance's sake, they will be happy in the sight of a lyre, a little spear, a chair, perhaps, or anything in the world that awakens the memory of the beloved. Why should I further examine and pass judgment upon images? Let men know what is divine. Let them know, that is all. If a Greek is stirred to the remembrance of God by the art of Phidias, an Egyptian by paying worship to animals, another man by a river, another by fire, I have no anger for their divergences. Only let them know, let them love. Let them recall. We should let everybody know that we are in the household of our dear, dear friend, Jane Taylor, and this is a family house that was built on this property in 1913 by your grandfather and his father. And one of the things that I love about this house is up on the ceiling, the woodwork on the ceiling, you can see your grandfather's fingerprints in the stain on the. It's wonderful.
This is a brand new thing. I'm trying to do something completely new each toy box. So this is a kind of thing called Since You've Gone, and it's kind of a medley in a way. Since you've gone, the fields have flowered, the birds are resting on the wires, the bees have nested in the towers, the whales are singing in large choirs. Nothing now seems out of place. The sun and moon rise all the same, and no one can recall your face, and no one calls your name. Nothing's different, for the seals basking on the rocks offshore. All your pains and business deals, what you ate and what you wore. Nothing now seems out of place. The sun and moon rise all the same. No one can recall your face, and no one calls your name. All that noise inside your head, all the killing, all the fires, all your living and your dead, bodies piled on funeral pyres. No one cares that you were here, what you wanted, what you built, all the sorrow, all the fear, piled in countless piles like silt. The sun and moon rise all the same. Nothing now seems out of place. No one now recalls your name. No one recalls your face. Oh, Johnny's dead and gone. Guess we'll all just carry on. Ain't no more for us to say. No one liked him anyway. Oh, John ain't no more. Don't know what his life was for. Never loved a blessed soul, and we stuck him in this hole. Oh, Johnny's in his grave. All he did was rant and rave, mostly hate and vile and lies. We give him gladly to the flies. Oh, John is dead and gone. Ain't no more for us to say. Ain't got just to carry on. Glad the girl don't give away. Oh, John is in the ground. Guess he won't be hanging round. Thank the Lord, give him no choice, and we don't got to hear that voice. Oh, John is dead and gone. Guess we'll all be moving on. Ain't no more for us to say. No one loved him anyway. I'd like to read a poem from a poet named Douglas Treem from his very, very good book, Everything So Seriously. This is inspired by Dennis Wilson, the Beach Boy, and had a kind of short-lived movie career, but Douglas wrote a beautiful poem called Dennis Wilson. Off a road between Nebraska and Iowa, I was making the movie that did not make me a movie star. I sat in a car to get my picture took. I peeled off my shirt and I got the giggles. I looked off sideways at the sunset, coming down round and flattening on the ground, till it made me a little blind. The man with the camera said, "Perfect light. One more. Thank you." I closed my eyes and heard him walk away from the dirt to the highway. A breeze crossed me. It felt cool and great over my sweat. I thought about God, and I bet that this was his touch, and the sun was his eye, and the moon was the other one. Darkness was rolling out from the sun. These things were falling into place inside me. I opened my eyes in the dusk, and I thought, I am the wick of a candle, and he has breathed the flame off me. Now gone out, I am alive, at last. I foresaw my own ironic death, and shook my head and smiled, then glimpsed little kids on a beach, under the roar of an airplane, with their arms out behind them, pretending to fly. They called my name. They told me it was time. I sprang off the hood. I stuck my head in my t-shirt. I wiped my eyes inside it. Then I pulled it down over me. And dance hall, please. This is another little thing, another brand new one actually, called Dance Hall. And Ellen is she's getting more and more involved as a percussionist, as you can tell. Now she's got sticks in her hand. It's like. Hard road, full load, bad cold, dark night, dog fight, searchlight. Going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall. Going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall. Band plays, body sways, love slims, vision swims, hip swing, voices ring, heart wake, shoulders shake, bad blood, flash flood, dried mud, stiff breeze, big freeze, weak knees. Going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall. Going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall. Eyes bright, feet are light, brown flies, mountains rise, tunes flow fast and slow, arms twine, souls align, no sweat, good bet, all set, airflow, pure snow, fine show. Going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall. Going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall. Body plays, body sways, hips sing, voices ring, time flies, pulses rise, arms twine, souls align. Going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall, going to the dance hall. going to the dance hall. I, we're at 20. I was going to read a couple of more things, but I want to do, we have one more thing, which I think is just weird, and so I want to do that instead of the reading the things I was going to read. Or maybe let's just do the one thing. Because it was Van Gogh's birthday when?
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
It was actually the day of his death.
The day of his death. And Van Gogh's friend and fellow painter Emile Bernard wrote about the funeral. I want to read that. The sun was terribly hot outside. We climbed the hill outside Auvers, talking about him, about the daring impulse he had given to art, of the great projects he was always thinking about, and about the good he had done to all of us. We reached the cemetery, a small new cemetery strewn with new tombstones. It is on the little hill above the fields that were ripe for harvest, under the wide blue sky that he would still have loved, perhaps. Then he was lowered into the grave. Anyone would have started crying at that moment. The day was too much made for him, for one not to imagine that he was still alive and enjoying it.
Our friend Jane is going to join us on percussion. 2 instruments that she brought.
And Jane is our first guest outside the immediate family. Can you pass me the...
Yeah, you need that.
This was written this morning. Well, not exactly written, as you will see, more or less discovered. The instruments are Jane brought to the table, knowing that I'm fond of making music with things. This is I'll do a little bit with the, this is a hanger that was broken, and this is an old lock. And this is called I Watch the Storm. I watch the storm cross the sea. I wait for the rain. Maybe the wind will shift and my house will be spared. Maybe the storm will pass without washing away the soil of the garden. I sit and watch one lone boat sailing toward the dark clouds. Evening comes, the wind dies down, the wind dies down. The birds start up again. the frogs, the frogs. Thanks for joining us for yet another 20 minutes. We'll hang around. We're going to do a little Q&A. We're starting that little that thing. Those of you who have had your 20 minutes and want to go, don't feel like you don't have to leave. But anyway, we're going to stick around.
If you have questions for Rinde and or Ellen, please drop them in the chat, or just put in the chat, please call on me, and I'll unmute your microphone. There are too many of us to just have one big conversation.
Oh, here, take that, yeah.
I should say that my fabulous mask was made by my friend Lori Newmeyer, who's a dye artist, a great, fabulous artist, who's also making masks now, like you do. And yeah, it's a beautiful piece of dye, and she gave us 4 of them, all individual.
Anyway, that last there was actually a storm that swept through here. We didn't know whether it was going to inundate the porch, so it just passed by, and we've had a lovely evening. The wind had died down, so it was great. It was really perfect.
I actually have a question.
Oh, great.
If I could ask. Rinde, a couple times tonight you said this is a new piece. I think you said that maybe about dance hall and one of the others.
There are 3.
Yeah, there are 3 new pieces to this time.
Are they a part of something, or are you just feeling it?
I think that I've been working on this kind of Mark Twain thing with Huckleberry Finn, and so I have a feeling they're going to end up, some of them are going to end up in that. Old John, since you've gone, the fields have flowered. I don't know whether that's going to make it in. Old John might make it in onto the raft. The raft is the name of the piece that I'm working on, and so we'll see. It's I'm having a residency at Two River Theater in the fall, in November, and we'll see what happens. The script is in good shape, but we want to work on it a little more. Anyway, some of these songs might end up there. I'm very excited actually by all of them right now.
That's great. I'm actually going to let Cindy Rosenthal ask a follow-up question on that. Cindy?
Hey, Cindy.
Hi. Oh, I wish I could beam myself to be with you on your beautiful porch. The lighting is so golden, it's exquisite. But I loved the old Johnny so much. I thought that was amazing and somehow perfect where you are. But can you tell us more about that, where that came from, what that is?
Which one? Old John?
I was hearing it as Old Johnny, but maybe it was Old John.
Well, it's Old John is, so I probably, and my diction probably isn't quite what it should be yet. But yeah, Old John, it started out as a kind of pain to a friend, but then it morphed into something that I needed to say about I don't know, about people who bring. There's an old William Carlos Williams poem that has something that's last line of which is like, if you bring nothing to this life but your carcass, stay out. And it was just I was just having to deal with the anger I feel toward people that I see as bringing nothing to the table but their carcasses and their vanity. So it was the end of the. I wanted to tag it on to Since You've Gone, because I love this. I'm interested in vanity and what it's done to us, and all its various forms. So the first part is a rather benign kind of form. you know, like nothing's different for the seals basking on the rocks offshore. It's like no one will miss us. And so part of that was the idea that we have this notion of ourselves as the center of the universe, which and then I wanted to personalize that a little bit as somebody who is actually has treated their life like they're the center of the universe. So old John became this character who we might have recognized as somebody who's in the news a lot. So anyway, it morphed. But I had a friend named John who I will write something for later, who was a fabulous pianist, and he just died kind of a poor and lonely figure. He just couldn't ever kind of get his old age together. And I have a lot of feeling for him, and I want to write something about him. So this one's not the one, but I'll do that later. Yeah.
It's also something about Huck's father.
Yeah, no, and then Huck's father came into it too, in Huckleberry Finn. His father's a real piece of work. So
unmourned figure.
Great. Wow. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And I'm going to unmute Douglas Manis, who has his hand raised.
Oh, Doug Maines.
Doug Maines.
Doug Maines.
Hey, Doug, how are you
Hello.
doing?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm in Los Angeles helping to take care of my 96-year-old mother.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And,
how's that going?
Well, it's going okay. I had originally I come out 4 times a year usually, like once a quarter. And I came out, my birthday was on June 19th, so I came out on June 17th and was flight scheduled to return on the 30th. But she had, on the 21st, she had this horrible hospital experience.
Oh, God.
Amid COVID. So she was on a non-COVID floor, but the Kaiser Permanente hospital facilities were so overwhelmed here in LA.
Well, it's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, she suffered quite a psychic blow in the hospital.
That's too bad.
It's too bad. So we're trying to nurse her back from that.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. So I'm here. I extended it once. Now I've extended it again. I'm here through August 18th.
Great.
And then I feel like I absolutely have to get back to my life in New York at some point. But the only thing COVID has done for me is to allow me to do this. So
it is, but that's something. That is something.
Yeah.
Other
than that,
to have you aboard here.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. It felt. I thought of old Antucker's fine old man washed his face in a frying pan.
Oh yeah.
Combed his hair with the wagon wheel, died of a toothache in his ear.
Yeah, exactly.
The old Dan Tucker kind of feel to it. So that was fun. Anyway. And I'm glad to hear you're doing something on Mark Twain.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I love that. One of the most powerful pieces of theater I ever saw, I don't know if you saw it or not, was Theater for the Deaf doing Big River, the musical.
Never saw it, no.
Oh, my goodness. It was astounding.
Well, we'll have to catch up. We'll have to catch up when you get back.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't want to monopolize the time here. So, but I enjoyed it. It's good to hear your voice. I'm glad you're in such a beautiful setting.
So stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Douglas.
Yeah.
Do you have time for one more question, Rinde and Ellen?
Sure. The bugs aren't too bad yet.
Yeah, I see you. I see you swatting away. That Maine summer. Lori Newmeyer has a question for you. Unmuting now.
It's my oldest, one of my oldest friends from when we were 14, 15.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. I had written in my questions. Now I'm going back to find my question. Let's see, Rinde, I'm curious about the relationship between your music and lyrics. Can you talk to us about your writing process? Do they evolve together, or does one follow the other? And it's wonderful to see you both.
Yeah, it comes in all forms. I mean, sometimes it's just a lyric that I want to set. Other times it's just a riff. This the one this today was just this. I just happened to whack the bridge of my guitar and got this, you know, and then so I started singing with it, and then once that was there, then later on in that afternoon I was watching the storm come in, so I decided maybe that was the lyric. So they were just kind of, I rely a lot on accident, and then I have to work it. The accident kind of is a wonderful thing that gets me into a place I didn't expect to be. And then I have to honor that by actually working on it and figuring out how it works and what lyric is appropriate, what kind of music is appropriate. And that's the fun part. Is the first is the discovery that I didn't expect, and then there's others like Since You've Gone, which took me, I've been working on for about a week and 2 weeks. I had I had the progression, and that was first. So it's just this, and I really like the progression. Then I kind of then I started singing singing over the progression, and then sometimes one like since you've gone was the first phrase, since you've gone, and then all of a sudden the whole piece kind of started to make sense to me.
But sometimes you start with the lyric.
Sometimes you start with the lyric, yeah.
Great. Well, I think it looks like we're about to lose the sun there in Algonquit. So
Yeah.
I will wrap up the Q&A. If that's
Thanks everybody for
Thanks,
coming.
thanks for joining us.
And
Join us in a
thanks.
couple of weeks. It'll be the last one for the summer, and then we're gonna take. It won't be another one until the fall. So it'll be number 9, Magic 9, and so please join us in a couple of weeks.
And thanks to the Taylor family who are letting us.
And
be
yes,
here.
and yeah, the Taylor family is of course great, and of course our host Pilar. So
Thanks, Pilar. Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you.
thanks. We'll see
Thanks,
you all.
everyone.
I hope sometime soon.